What's up, Ram fam? I'm Anthony, and I'm joined again with Veronica. Today's podcast is the second conversation for Ethnic Studies 305, Ethnicity, Class, and Gender in the United States at Colorado State University. And today we're talking about oppression. It's a word people probably hear a lot, but sometimes it's used without a full understanding or clear explanation.
Yeah, sometimes people use oppression to mean any kind of struggle. But is oppression the something is just having a hard life?
Not exactly. Everyone goes through struggles, but oppression is different because it's connected to systems of power. Oppression happens when certain groups of people face repeated barriers because of race, gender, class, sexuality, disability, or other parts of individual identity.
So it is just one bad experience.
Right. One way to understand this is through Marilyn Frey's essay Oppression, where she compares oppression to a birdcage. Because if you only look at one wire, you might not understand why the bird can't escape. But when you step back, you can see all of the wires are connected together to form a cage.
I like that example because it shows how people can miss the bigger picture.
Exactly. If someone only looks at one moment, they might say, why don't they just work harder? Or why don't they just leave? But oppression is about the whole system around that person.
So the cage could be poverty, racism, sexism, stereotypes, unsafe schools, lack of health care, or unfair policies.
Yes, and those things do not always work separately. They often overlap, and that connects us to Miki Kendall's Hood Feminism, where Kendall shows how girls of color are often adultified and blamed instead of protected. That is not just sexism, that is sexism mixed with racism and class judgment.
So oppression can look different depending on someone's identity.
Definitely. That is why we have to look at the whole person and the whole system. This is where Charles Mills' The Racial Contract helps because he argues that racism is built into society, not just individual attitudes.
That makes oppression feels like a personal problem and more like a social structure.
Exactly. And that is the point of oppression. It's not just about someone being mean or unfair, it's about patterns that become normal within society.
So when people say that is just how things are, ethnic studies ask us to question that mindset.
Yes, it asks us who benefits from things being this way and who is harmed by people accepting this as normal.
That makes sense. Oppression is not just one locked door. It is the whole building being designed to keep some people out.
Exactly. And once we understand that we can stop blaming people for being locked out and start asking how the cage was even built, or more importantly, how do we break a society as a whole? So, understanding oppression is not just about pointing fingers, it's about creating freedom, accountability, and real change within society. Because when we understand the systems of oppression more clearly, we can stop blaming each other for the cages built around us and start asking how those controlling the systems can be challenged, dismantled, and even replaced. Because oppression survives when people are divided, but real change begins when we stand united, speak the truth, and choose right over the easy. Thanks for watching. Again, this is PQ Outdoors. Like, share, and subscribe.